Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann here with Ken Daniels. We're going to have an interesting little show here. He has a lot of huge successes. One of them is near and dear to our heart, and that's turning his health and fitness around. So Ken comes to us from the Survival Podcast. He and I are both expert counsels there, and not only does he share there, so you can go and listen, but he has his own material. We're going to get into that. He is a mixologist, a chief chef. He's a hospitality consultant with over 20 years in the business. He has been doing a lot of things. And then one day the doctor said, "Hey man, no more monkeys jumping in the bed." And so that's kind of what we're here to talk about. Ken, take it from there. What would you like everyone to know about you? Go.
Yeah, I met Andy last year. I joke with him. We were at a workshop with the Survival Podcast, and I told him later on. I didn't really talk to him much then, but I told him how I avoided him like the plague. He kind of represented something about health and fitness that I just wasn't into at the time. I was so focused on professionalism, and getting my business where it needs to be and making money. And we were at the cusp of my business is at the cusp of really just making some of the best money and things that we've done in our industry. And I just didn't have time for health.
So
And,
hey man, right there is kind of the crux of all this, which really caught my attention. One, I'm a huge I've been used to people my whole life, especially girls in high school, saying I don't really want to get to know that Andy McCann. So I was like, no problem, man. I hear that all the time. But on the non-funny but serious part is you did a thing that most of us do. And so I have found recently that when us men enter our 50s, we enter the drop dead years. And they know that we die four times more often than before of blood clots in our brain and blood clots in our heart. So heart attacks and strokes. And how do we fight that when we're trying to do what you did, which was make money and do our business and provide for our family? So we forget to take time out for ourselves. And I literally just got off a text with a lady saying, my husband needs to hear this. We don't take care of ourselves until we feel like it's too late, but you're living proof and the changes you've made that it's never too late.
yeah, unfortunately, my kind of wake up call came at 43. I was 43 this year. Again, last year, we've done so well that I'm kind of semi-retired at this point. Uh, but come February like 13th, I woke up and I mean, this conversation is going to get emotional because it had such an impactful moment on me. I had double vision in my left eye. I woke up and I didn't know what was going on, and uh, it kind of got worse. We went to the eye doctor, just a normal, ophthalmologist, and checked me out. And he's like, "Dude, your vision's perfect on both sides." He goes, uh, your eye is one of the eyes is starting to get paralyzed." And I was like, he's like, "You need to go to the doctor." And so we went to the doctor, the ER. And again, he said go to the ER because it would take 6 weeks to get a CAT scan and MRI. Just go to the ER and just get it done. And so we
Right.
did, and I ended up staying overnight. They thought I
Of
was
course.
having a stroke or something, and they monitored me and said, "No, you're not having a stroke, but complications with your diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is causing some blood issue, kind of restriction to this nerve on the left side of your eye." And bro, it's scary. It's scary looking up I get teary eyed, right? Like staring up at the ceiling in a hospital bed on Valentine's Day with my wife there, and I can't see right. My eyes, I see two things. My eyes are not converging together. It's
Right.
very scary. And I kind of was just like, look, I'm a consultant by trade. You guys see it, the Advanced Hospitality Group. That's my company. I teach hospitality individuals how to be better leaders, better chefs, better everything. Sommeliers. I'm a sommelier as well, and I immediately said I no longer need to pick up any more clients. I am my number one client right now. I'm my
Yeah.
only client.
So
And
the
go
the
ahead.
most the biggest well, I always tell people solve one problem at a time. And I love what you did there. You're like, hey, while I may have not done it in the past, it is time to invest in myself and I need to make a change. And most people, so my son is sitting over here doing some work. He's in his internship and he's got a similar story where the doctor said, basically, you should take all this medicine and all these drugs, and you guys chose something different. So, what was kind of the prescription the doctor gave? And then we'll go down the track of like, what did you do? How did you tackle this?
Yeah, well, they one didn't quite know. I needed to see a neuro ophthalmologist, and no one was a neuro ophthalmologist there. Apparently, there's only 20 of them in Texas, and my next available appointment was February of 2026.
Oh,
So
wow.
said, you really can't see the person that's going to tell you how to do things for another year. So all we recommend is just to get your A1C under control, your diabetes under control, and good luck. That's basically what they said. Went to the primary, my primary care physician. They wanted to throw. I was already diabetic, so I was on a minimal amount of medications for my diabetes. But it was one of those things that I'd forgotten. I'd lost a lot of weight a few years ago, and kind of just said, "All right, I'm good. It's something I can just forget about now." And well, I was wrong. And he wanted to throw me on all of these like Ozempics and all of these big statins and cholesterol stuff. And I was like, and I took it. I took it home, but I had other plans. And for months, and then again, we go back to you and your energetic self during the workshop, dude. You're overwhelming in a great way, man. You're energetic and you want to get people involved and you care. And then during the workshop last year in November, I was like, all right, that guy's a little too energetic for me. I can't deal with this right now. I got other stuff going on. And then so that was in November, February. My eye thing happened, and I was like, you know what? There's a ton of information and wealth of knowledge around me in a community that I am not accessing. I need to find it and find it fast. And immediately went onto your website. I was like, where? I actually went to Jack's website, found your interviews, went through and found all the other material because it's like, whether you help me save my life, like,
You did
man,
that. This
I
it's
I know
taking
I
those
did.
steps, dog. But I do appreciate that.
And it really was kind of just looking at like what are the things I need to get a foundational start with, and then where can I start? I didn't want to go too fast, too far. I wanted to give myself some successes. This is how I built my consulting and businesses. Look, you're not going to be able to tackle everything, but let's get some small successes in, start building confidence, and let's start getting bigger. And so that part of your soft 60 was a big part of that. I had looked at, I don't even know the name of it, the hard 60, whatever.
75 hard.
Yeah, I didn't even look at that one. I just kind of said, what's important to me right now? And it's one, luckily my wife has been very gracious about eating carnivore and kind of a keto diet, which I decided I was going to do. And a community of people, including my good church that I go to and good support group of men. I've got a couple of really, really close chef buddies of mine that every week we're constantly texting each other, just positive things, man. Hey, keep it up. If you're struggling, reach
Right.
out, right? I think that's one of the things as men as we forget is that we struggle. You and I personally as friends, we've talked about that and say, hey, what are you struggling with right now? And we try to help each other out. And I think being vulnerable in this process is important. If this isn't I'm going to get everything right and look at my ego. It's and that's kind of where all this culminates. And I'll stop after that. But I'm trying to show people a real vulnerable, honest, non-glossy, gritty side of diabetes and eating right as a chef, how difficult it is. I couldn't imagine as a layperson who doesn't understand food or going to the grocery stores. It's overwhelming for me as an expert, right? And it it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to get done. It has to.
So that's the thing that I mean, when you came to me, you said, "Hey, Andy, I've been doing a thing." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know where we're going with this." And you laid that all out. I'm like, "Wow, you've been killing it for 2 months, and you're looking for the next thing." I'm like, "This isn't." So, uh, I've stolen this from other people, but I typically say, "Hey, I don't do one-on-one coaching. I'm $1,000 an hour because
Yeah.
it's just people they won't listen." So
Yeah.
I typically tell them, "We'll track your food for 2 weeks, and then I'll talk to you for free because you did the work." Dude, 2 months of like changing everything up. So okay. So the doctor says, here's some options drug wise, which, hey, I am not a doctor. Don't take my advice. I am just living this out with Ken, with Evan, that we have real life story that I have a hard time explaining, except to say that maybe what they tell us isn't always true. I don't know. So tell us what you did. What was the first step when you said, okay, screw this. I'm taking my life into my hands. I'm going to make this change. I am my first customer. What were some of the
Major,
first things you did?
major groaner. But my first thing was just prayer. I started
Oh
praying.
yeah.
Right. That's for me. It was get into a right mindset. The second thing for me was I had to reprogram my brain. No matter what I did, uh, I take a look at to develop you. I get annoyed with all these like 7 day habits, 21 days bullshit. I don't care about that stuff. For me, it was I need to reprogram my brain. My biggest villain is my own head, getting in, talking myself out of things, doubting myself. Um, and so every morning when I get up, until even to this day, I put on my headphones and go on YouTube and I listen to like motivational kind of things. They're sappy and they're stupid, but I don't care.
Right.
I
Dude.
find I when I was feeling down on myself, I would hear myself before this go, dude, it's too hard. Just stop. Just stop. You're gonna hurt. You're gonna have a heart attack. Something's gonna happen. And I started listening to stuff. And my wife makes fun of me, but she knows how I am, right? And she'll say the things that you say now are very different to yourself. Oh, I'm
Oh
so
yeah.
stupid. I never say that anymore,
No.
right? I kept saying these weird, stupid things like I when I'm at CrossFit, we'll get to that in a second. I say, you have to die. I will be running and I'll be working out, and my trainer will go, "What are you saying?" I was like, "You have to die." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I was like, "The weaker person in me has to die every day.
That's
Has
it.
to." He constantly tells me that don't get up, don't get out of bed. It's comfy. It's too freaking hot in Texas. You're no, no. Every day I tell myself I have to die. I have to. That person inside of me has to quiet. And I also tell myself, you've been in control too long. It's my turn. This is my time. You have made me lazy. You've made me blind. It's my time. I'm in control.
Dude,
And
it's the craziest thing when you start talking to yourself like that. I actually had to tell one of my kids one time, I was mad at my kid for telling himself how much of a loser and stupid he was. I was like, I will not let you tell my son those words. And they were like, wait, so you're mad at me for telling myself? I'm like, yes, because that's my son you're talking to. But that's
yeah,
exactly it. You have to talk to yourself about this stuff. It's
yeah,
of those five things, like you just mentioned the last two, it's how you eat, sleep, move, think, and connect. You grab the connection, and now you're working on the think piece, which
yeah,
people kind of like, I don't really, dude. That's like if you can't get that piece straight,
yeah.
you're never gonna start.
Yeah, I immediately after that, mind you, I'm wearing an iPad, right? Like I wake up every day and I can't see. I have to wear an iPad to even function. My body, my equilibrium's all off. I can't. It is. My head is always in pain because of the stress and stuff. So I'm already going through a lot of physical and mental stress, depression. I'm fighting that. I'm trying to figure out. And so I said, I just need to start moving. And so I would get up. I get teary eyed. I get up every day at 4:30 in the morning, and I would walk, and I would walk, and I just started,
No, no,
and
hey, collect yourself. I'll fill
oh,
in until
you're
you
good,
get it together. So,
you're
yeah,
good, you're good. And so I prided myself in being able to get up when no one else was up, no one else was up, and I would just iPad, couldn't see, and just walk, and I would start 5 minutes, and the next day I would add a minute, and I would add a minute, and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks in, I'm like, oh crap, I'm feeling pretty good. And so I started rowing. We had a rowing machine that we've had here for like 2 years that we've never sat on. And I'm like, started rowing. And you want to humble yourself on a rowing machine. You have 1 minute on there and I was dead, right? I could only do a minute at a time. And so all of a sudden, after like a month, I'm doing 15 minutes of really hard rowing. And now I'm at a point now where the walking is like, this isn't cutting for me. I even, a month or two later when we started talking, I said, my efficiency, I need to improve. I can't walk for 6 hours. So I
right.
started upping my energy level. And on top of that, immediately when I got home, this happened immediately when I got home. I started. We bought a new house, and so at that moment, we purged everything from my pantry, everything,
Dude,
every
yeah, that's
processed
a
food,
winner.
every carb, every sugar. Our pantry looked emaciated. It was gone. And so how the hell am I going to build this pantry? And luckily, as a chef, I'm like, okay, we'll figure this out. Tallow, butter, meat, salt. Like it was all the things that the doctor told me not to do. And we started eating basically a ketogenic diet. I was under 50, like we just like the podcast and everything. Start with 50. I was pretty aggressive with it, but I was no cheat, no sugar, nothing. I was water, electrolytes in the morning. I was really starting to track every metric that went into my body. I was conscious about how much water I put in my body. And and I started tracking everything. And this is before I reached out to you. I said to myself, I want to give myself 60 days before I reach out to a colleague and say, hey, listen, I've been doing this versus I'm hoping to do this. No, 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 no. I needed to commit to myself first.
Yeah.
And so after 60 days, I'm like, wow, I'm feeling great. It's time to turn it up a little bit. I need to
Right.
figure out where it is. And that's when I reached out to you. And you were great, man. You really were. And I didn't even realize that I kind of put that soft 60 aside. But when I went back and talked to you, I realized that I had pretty much done all of those soft 60s inherently just by like, again, your 5 things about like making sure that everything, I was even boiling down sleep, like tracking sleep and how can I optimize my, when I wake up in the morning, instead of just getting up in the morning, I bought these lights that bring the soft yellow light up gradually so that my cortisol level didn't spike in the morning. And
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
dude, it really helped when it was like, it's like a natural awakening, right? And
Yeah.
so got really into doing a walk, but watching the sunrise.
So
And it was,
you are moving, you're walking, you're
yeah,
thinking, you got better things you're saying, you're
yep,
connecting with your small group and men.
yep,
You're changed the way you're eating, so now you're doing some sort of carnivore,
yep,
and then you go about 60 days and say, okay, I'm feeling pretty good.
yep.
Did you see improvements yet?
Yeah, I didn't, it wasn't visual. It wasn't a visual change. It was, wow, I can walk and not get winded. I can go up a flight of stairs and not feel like I'm going to die. Um, I'm eating better and I felt better, right? The no carb, no sugar, no processed food, no seed oil. In 60 days, I was feeling like better than I have in ever. Like my body was responding. I was still having these interesting like glucose spikes, which I got through, but like health wise, vitality wise, I was feeling better, which made me go, I need to talk to Andy because now I'm actually contemplating going to doing CrossFit, which 60 days ago I'd have been like, you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that
And
was
so,
pretty funny when you called. I was like, dude, look, I know you and you're like me. I don't think, look, let's find a gym near you and just start there. So let's back up a second though.
okay,
I do want to highlight a moment. Ken had mentioned a couple times this 60 easy. So there's a thing called 75 hard. I forgot who put it out there, but it's like do these hard things for 75 days. And if you mess up, you got to start all over. I think that's just the dumbest thing in the world because it just is off putting. Yes, it's challenging and tough, but it makes you feel like a failure. I feel like more people than not are in this place of how do I even start? So I wrote up a long time ago and then I redid it. And then I did ask my new writer, I said, hey, rewrite my crappy words. And so it reads much better. But if you go to CrossFitGarage.com/free, you can see all the free stuff. It's called 60 Easy. The idea behind it is there are 5 things that help move the needle a lot in your longevity. And that's how you eat, sleep, move, think, and connect. And so there's 12 months. So 5 of those and 12, that's 60. So you do one of these each month for a year and you would have gotten all 60. Now, it's 60 easy. You can't fail. You could try it and say, screw that, I hate it. Or you could do it and stack them. You can be like, hey, I did January now. I'm still doing January, but I'm picking up February. Or you could do like Ken and say, I'm just going to do all 60 all at one time. Let's go. They're not that hard. They're literally 60
no.
easy. So you can go to the website and find it and walk through it. Was there any of those that stuck out to you as like either duh, I should have done it before, or maybe super challenging?
I think really it was just the community aspect of it for me. Surrounding myself with you, right? Good people,
Yeah.
church. I it's funny as I tell my clients in business, you need to get away from people that aren't like minded. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to be around entrepreneurs. You need to be you and Andy, you and I hustle. We are constantly pushing each other. What do you got coming up? Let's do? If you don't have people in that in your life, business wise, you're not going to really make it. You're putting yourself behind a lot.
Right.
Same, at least now when I'm learning about my health and vitality, if I don't have people that are going to be optimistic and brother, you barely knew me, bro, and you sent me video, audio. Hey, dude, get up, hey, you go get it, and I appreciate it, right? Because that's what initially, even not initially, like we'll talk about in a second, like times get tough, bro, and like you need to find a good group of people that it may not be your average friends that you talk to on a regular basis. It may be and that's why I think CrossFit community. Uh, Again, I wrote an article about it. It said literally cross The church is the gym for my soul, and the gym is like the soul for my body.
Yeah.
Like I need my CrossFit community to push me
So guys, if
to
you're looking for these blogs, if you go to his site, the bloodsugarchef.com, there's a write up on it. If you go to oh, I just
faith
lost.
and recovery
There
or
it is
something
on
like.
this side. The the blog. Now I'm losing it, but anyway, trust me, it's there. I'll find it as he's talking. Um oh, there it is right there. 90-day lab results and
Yeah.
fitness. Uh
So
faith
let's
and recovery and CrossFit. I'm actually on it right now. I was already there. And
let's
this
move forward because
first week.
I don't want to. We only have 40 minutes, right?
I know, right?
That's good. So reached out to you, CrossFit. Just working hard, working hard. And I think the other thing too that after we started chatting, you being patient with the initial questions, and you and I talked about it, like how it benefits you because sometimes you've been doing it for a while, you forget. But I
Dude,
think
yes, that happens a lot. I got another buddy going along for this journey, similar, but it was to his heart.
yeah,
And he keeps asking me stuff that's like off the wall crazy. But I'm like, dude, keep asking because I forget. Like, when do you use chalk? Whenever you want.
yeah,
Like just keep asking this stuff. And
yeah.
we have like 40 minutes, not 20. We got
Oh,
time.
okay, okay. So you being there was just great, man. Not only as a friend, colleague, but just as just support, man. Just knowing that hey, I got questions, can throw it to you. And now, granted, I may have a direct connect with you as a friend that other people don't, and I appreciate that.
Hey,
But
anybody can text in. If I can handle it, I will literally get on the phone with you and talk to you or text or whatever it is. If we want to be teenage girls, we'll just do all texting.
so I you got to remember I'm a chef, and so it was about March, mid March, late March, and I had committed to something at that workshop with another individual at Crunchy Mama Farms. It's a butchery workshop where they butcher pigs and cows, and I made a commitment to go up there to help, not as a student, but more as just a teacher and kind of helping them. Mind you, I'm still wearing an eye patch. Man, I'm 60 plus days, and I'm tired of the eye patch, but I had to drive 4.5 hours up north. And that to me was a struggle because I couldn't necessarily see. And so I made it up there and took a while getting up there. But that weekend, I said, I'm going to try taking my eye patch off and just starting to see if I can get some. Since March 21st, I have not worn eye patch. It you can see my eyes eventually. It took a little time after that, but started to kind of come over. One day I woke up. It was probably like April 15th ish around that time, and I could just see normal again. It just overnight. But they had told me that it was basically going to be almost 3 to 6 months before I saw anything.
Wow.
And
They being the doctors.
doctors, right? And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, something good is happening in me, something, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. So my next threshold was my lab results, and that was in May. And I was like, okay, that's 90 days. And so, man, I didn't miss a damn day, a workout. I didn't miss every bit of food that went in me was perfect. Everything that I was putting was trying to optimize my body. And so May 15th come around. Uh, Also, my wedding and 10-year anniversary was a great time. But we went to the doctor, and I got my labs, and she like the pinwheels of like cross buffering. She couldn't understand. I had brought my A1C from 10.0 down to 6.4 in 90 days, which is unheard of,
Dang. Yeah.
which is right on the threshold of upper limits of pre-diabetic. So they don't really consider you diabetic at 6.5.
Okay.
And so I'm at 6.4, and I was like, holy crap, how the hell did I do this? Right. And so, and at this point, keto really isn't even in my world. I was full carnivore at this point. It was just steak and eggs and butter and salt. And I get up in the morning, and before I go to the gym, I'm craving like pieces, hunks of fat and meat. That's what I crave now. And the results were unreal. My triglycerides went from like 700 down to like just over 200. It was great, right? There's some things that I still need to work on, and I do not have a full metabolic recovery yet,
Oh
but
man, that takes time.
it takes time, right? I've got 43 years of doing things shitty. Like I can't. I'm amazed that my body has responded the way it has when I put good things into it, and not just food wise, up here, right?
Right.
Mentally and sleep and you asked me what one of the biggest things that I realized was how big recovery was, right? Like how big, again, we talked about this back and forth and like, hey man, I'm taking this day off. I'm like, dude, like, yes, like let your body heal. Like it's okay. Like CrossFit was never intended for that. And like, but push yourself, but
Right.
be careful. And we went over are you injured? Don't go so hard that you're losing out. I'm talking fast because I want to get to the end because you can start talking. At the end, right before it was Memorial Day, I did the Murph, right? It's a mile and then like 100 pull up, 200 whatever the heck it is.
Pull-ups.
Yeah, then 300 squats and then another mile. And I was amazed that I did it and it was scaled, right? I couldn't do pull up, but I was doing my thing. And I was so proud of myself. And then the next day I called you and I said, I can't move my arms.
You're not the only one. Several people were like, dude, what's wrong with my arms? I'm like, did you do Murph and did you do it straight through? Yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
But you know what? I did it in an hour and 21 minutes, man. Like I never
Dang.
thought I was able to do that. Now granted, I was out for a week.
Yeah.
And you didn't you've never scolded anybody ever, but you're like, dude, next time, dude, like there's you take it easy because you don't want to wreck yourself for a week. And so I got all these test results back, and I'm super high, and I'm like, this is so great. And I hit Murph, and then a week off, and I didn't want the week off. It wasn't like I need to take a rest. It was like I need this because my body is not well. And
Right.
then and I haven't published the article yet, but I wrote a piece, and really this month has just been shit. And I kind of want to end with this, and we'll talk about what I do and how I can help. But I'm happy that it happened because it's not glamorous, but this is real. This month was a struggle.
Right.
I had that grand villain of my labs that I was chasing, trying to prove it wrong, trying to fix my eye. Well, I did that. And now what? And now it's that stupid voice in my head trying to negotiate with me, saying, well, you can do this. You proved that you can do it. Cheat a little bit here.
Right.
And I will tell you, Andy, when I decide to eat something that maybe not be the best for me, I don't feel guilty about it. Right? I feel like it's a choice. It's my treat. I get to enjoy it, and I'm not going to feel. I used to feel really guilty about it, but it starts easy going. Well, I'm still need to recover. I'm not going to go to WOD, the workout of the day. I've got some things I got to take care of. I don't need to be texting my boys and supporting them as much. And you pull out of the community a little bit, and you just start negotiating with these bad habits that happen years ago. And it wasn't until really last week that I said, you know what, dude, like you're feeling better than you ever felt. You're fitting into clothes that you've never fit in before. That's the other thing. The doctor was like, well, your weight, it hasn't actually, it's regained weight. And I'm like, I'm wearing a size 34 pants and like
Dude.
medium shirts, bro. I've never felt better, right?
Yeah.
Like
Preach
my
on.
muscle mass is rocking right now.
And
I
they're
look,
like, your weight went up. You're like, check out my body though.
yeah,
It's
check out these
muscle.
quads, right? Like I check
Yeah.
quads, and she's like, well, I'm like, so I said, listen, so right now, and this is really what I like to, what I'm trying to show people is I've got to figure out my next motivation. And I wish it was as simple as, well, you're doing a good job. Just keep it up. It's not like I've got to, it's almost like this dopamine hit that I've got to chase it. And I don't want that. I want to be able to say, I want to be able to have these like checkpoints along the way that I could get wins, but not have to feel like after I get those wins, I don't have anything else to work for. And that's what I'm struggling with right now.
Right.
And I'm going to take people on that same journey with me because it's not it's sometimes it's not about motivation, it's not about discipline, it's not about it. Sometimes, again, I'm going to say this, some of my gym people, I love them, but they're like, it's a privilege to work out. It fucking sucks.
It does. Yes.
It's not easy. Today's WOD kicked my butt, and that's okay. I feel great, but it's not easy, and I don't want it to be easy. If it was easy, then it's not worth it.
Well,
But
they
it
give you pills, and that's their easy, and that's why they do that. I think is most people won't do the thing that we would recommend. So now we've just gone so far down the road of not ever recommending anything else but drugs that
Yeah.
that's all they recommend. But so this is a good one. Many people hit that place where you're at, and then they're like, am I good now? And unfortunately, the answer is feebleness is always chasing us down. Feebleness wants to come get us. Our bodies are the ultimate adaptation machine. If we stop, it'll adapt to being crap again. You have to keep moving it. Now, here's the great part. As you stack up all these attendances showing up for yourself, whether it's eating or moving or thinking or a community or whatever, as you stack that up, you can go without for a bit. So like, hey, I went on vacation for a week and didn't do anything, or I ate badly for whatever. It's fine because you have layers and years of stacked preps, if you will. I've prepared my body and my mind and my soul and all these things. I can go for a disaster. I went to a wedding and I had some cake and drank and whatever. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's the longevity of it, but it comes down to this. What is your why? So it took me probably 15 years to really come up with this. My why for doing what I do is I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids in soccer. Now, does it have to be soccer? No, it was just something relatable. Like it's not going to be like Fortnite, whatever. It's going to be something outside. We're going to be doing a thing. I have to be healthy and fit. My kids have to like me, and my kids' have to like me. So I've got to be active, involved, non-dick, fit, cognitively there, granddad. And so what does that look like? Well, it looks like the picture that I'm now. I just have probably grayer hair. So find that good sticky why, and maybe, use that AI course in the ChatGPT to help create it. That would probably have been an easier way than me waiting for 15 years for it to hit me in the face. But that's what you do. What is the why? Get into the grind, and then that grind becomes habit, and that habit becomes something you look forward to, and you just do it.
I will say that real quick that this could not have been as much a success without the intervention of AI.
Oh,
I was
man.
able to integrate, and people go, well, what about your medical? What about all your information? I said, look, I don't care. I'm willing to be alive and fight that battle in the future than be dead. And I tracked every metric, everything, every doctor's note, everything went into AI to give me a secondary opinion about what was going on, including my MRIs. Everything went in there, and
Yeah.
it was like, this is this, this is this. Hey, I'm thinking about adding this supplement. What's the pros and cons of this? Boom, it would give me. When should I be taking this? Well, it optimizes with fat intake. So, okay, cool. And so I was able to streamline. It was like my personal nutritionist, personal dietitian, personal just coach that was there for me anytime I had a question.
That's it.
All I had to do was vet it with industry experts like you and other people. Hey, what's your thoughts on this? But I could not have done this without AI. And
I shove everything in there too. I'm like, yeah, know me, whatever. I don't care.
And when I was done, I take pictures of my workout, like heart rates and everything, every post it. And so when I went to the doctor, I took every one of those metrics that I had compiled and said, here's my numbers. And there was like irrefutable evidence versus just this ethereal, well, you're probably eating cookies and just not telling me.
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Dude, it's a
great.
huge story of success. And I want to come back to you in like 6 months and, hey, where are we? If people want to find out about you, and something that you've done that I love and I hope you get into real quick is the recipes, but I've got pulled up bloodsugarchef.com. How do they get a hold of you? How do they follow you? How do they find your resources? And how would you like them to interact?
Yeah, I gotta see the time. So listen, I got involved with the American Diabetes Society, which is a big advocate against the American Diabetes Association. We push for basically carnivore, ketovore diet. They had meal plans they didn't have recipes for. So I made 7-day meal plans, morning, noon, and lunch for every dinner for every meal plan they have on there. It's on my site, bloodsugarchef.com. That will always be free to anybody who wants, who's struggling with it. You can always reach out to me at bloodsugarchef or info at bloodsugarchef.com. I'm always here for anybody. I'm on Som Kenny is my Instagram, SOMM Kenny. If you do Instagram, just reach out to me if you have questions, if you need encouragement. I am always here for you guys. And that's it, man. I want you to experience the gritty journey with me.
Dude, I love your writing style. I wish I could write. I can talk, but I cannot write. Guys, one, go look at these recipes. I've looked through them for my son Levi. He's really into wanting to become a better cook, which again, I said, Ken, can you help me out? And he's talking to my son Levi. So it's just friends helping friends, and friends don't keep score. They just show up. And if you go to his the homepage and you read over some of the blog posts, man, they're hilarious. They're entertaining. They're impactful. I mean, guys, read this stuff. See where Ken's been. Most of us have been there. He's just sharing it with you, and you can go along for this journey. All right, guys. Again, Andy McCann here on Food, Fitness, and Finance. I'll be catching back up with Ken. You can hear him on the Survival Podcast every other Thursday on the Expert Council, and or jump on his blog right here and catch his stuff.